seen people who kind of make fun of this concept of thinking positive or having positive thoughts. Recently one of my friends asked me, what do you mean by being positive? Do you mean that we should ignore the reality, what is happening around us? There are so many things, people are suffering, they don't get medical aid in time, and they are going through so much, they are losing their jobs, losing their income sources. So do you mean to say that we should ignore all this? So basically, we need to understand what I mean by being positive. So let us see what I mean by being positive. What does it mean for me? So is it being happy all the time? Ma'am, change नाही झाली तर मला
Yes,
सांगा ना, please.
yes, yes. No, no, it's going
Yeah.
on.
Okay. So is it being happy all the time? So at least I haven't seen any person, like I'm quite old. I mean, you can even call me ancient. So in my life, I haven't seen anyone who has been, who is happy all the time, 24 by 7, all 365 days of the year. That's not possible, and that's not necessary also. Because we have so many emotions, and all emotions are equally required. I think when we discussed about emotional literacy, we have seen that all emotions are equally important. So yes, being happy all the time is not what I mean by being positive. Does it mean being hopeful all the time? So if you say that being hopeful means ignoring the reality, or not accepting it, trying to be in fool's paradise, or trying to be in some kind of fairy tale, no, that is not what we mean by being hopeful all the time. Basically, we need to be very, very aware of the situation around us. We also need to be aware of what are the ways that can be used to overcome it. We also need to be realistic to accept, understand, and accept where it is beyond our means. There are certain things which we just can't do anything about. But then accepting that also is part of being positive. So it doesn't mean that you have to ignore. All you need to do is be realistic. Then is it being stress free all the time? So no, like we have already discussed last time, stress also is required. If you don't have any stress at all, you won't perform, you won't try to excel, you won't try to do anything. So stress free? No. All the time stress free? No. But at least you should be able to manage that stress, and should be able to relax in spite of the stress. So yes, we accept that stress is part of our life, it is going to be there. Being calm all the time, well, uh, we do see, some, we hear about some saints who are all the time calm and quiet, nothing can perturb them, or nothing can make them angry. When we see Gautam Buddha's face, it looks so serene and calm, it calms you down. But I'm pretty sure even Gautam Buddha, when he was child, or when he had not reached this stage in his life, at that time he must have become angry sometime or the other. I'm pretty sure about that. And I don't mean this as any kind of demeaning. I mean, yes, he also was human being. What he did was he traveled to that space. So being calm all the time also is not possible. So that is also not positivity. Being optimistic all the time, like कुछ नहीं होगा, दुनिया में सब अच्छा ही अच्छा होगा, कोरोना नाम की चीज कोई है ही नहीं, ये बीमारी ही नहीं है. No, this also is not being positive, because you need to have, I don't say that you need to be pessimistic, but also you need to be realistic. So being optimistic all the time is not possible. You have to be realistic as well, but try not to be too pessimistic. That is what we mean by being positive. And yes, that is what is my guess about being positive. Now, what is happening today? Why people are finding it tough to remain positive in today's times? So basically, it's completely uncertain prognosis. Now, it has been more than 1 year, and if you go to revisit last March 2020, and today it is almost May end 2021. So many theories have come up. So many things have changed. Whatever scientists or medical professionals said earlier has changed. Forget about last year, even this year. What should be the gap between two jabs of vaccine? That gap also has been kept changing. So this uncertainty is getting at people, then there is severe shortage of resources. It is so frustrating to see or read the stories about people not getting medical aid. Is someone saying something to me? Hello?
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
Please
Uh,
continue.
yeah. Then there are unfamiliar health measures which are infringing upon our personal space. For example, we never had to take someone's permission, right, to go out of our house earlier. Nobody questioned us why you are on the road, unless you were on the road at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the night, and maybe the police personnel thought that you are not in a proper state of mind. But besides that, nobody questioned us. But today we are scared to step on the road. And again, yesterday only I saw a video on TV that one police personnel was beating up one person for being on the road, though he was explaining that he was on the road to get medicines for his parents. So you have to, answer each movement of yours the moment you step out of your house. So that infringement, which was never there in our life earlier, so that also is getting on our nerves. And of course there are financial losses. People have lost jobs. Even business people have lost money on a large scale. And I'm sure as students, because of your parents financial conditions, those who are lucky enough not to have felt that pinch, well, that's good for them. But many people are feeling that pinch now. So all these things are affecting us in today's world. And this is giving rise to anxiety, a big amount of anxiety I can see in people nowadays. And what is anxiety basically? So many times we mix fear with anxiety. So fear and anxiety are two different things, completely different things. So fear is something, an emotion which or a reaction which originates in you when you are facing real danger. For example, you come across a big cobra when you are walking on the road. Suddenly a cobra appears in front of you. What you feel at that time is fear. But there is no cobra, nothing on the road. You are walking on the road. Only thing is there are bushes on both sides of the road, and it is probably dark, and you are walking on that road, and you are very alert, that maybe इसमें कहीं झाड़ी में कुछ सांप वाप ना निकल आए, कुछ निकल ना आए. So when you feel these things, when you have these thoughts, that is what is anxiety. So big time anxiety is there, though we know these are the things that we need to do and we can be reasonably safe. Still, we also know that maybe I still may not be safe. So that maybe I still may not be safe is what is giving rise to anxiety. So it's big time anxiety in today's time. To understand from where this anxiety comes up, I would like to discuss with you a concept which I came across when I was reading a book by Patnaik. He writes beautifully. If you get hold of any book by him, please Please read it. So he has given contemporary explanation of Bhagavad Gita. And in that, what he has explained is, in this world, there are two things. One is Jiva, Sajiva, or Nirjiv or Ajiv, what we call. So Sajiv is basically Chara and Achara. Chara means those who can move around on their own. And Achara is something which cannot. It is living, but it cannot move around on its own. And Nirjiv, of course, Pathar, Bhumi, ये सब elements, 5 elements that are Ajiva or Nirjiva. Now, within Jiva, Sajiva, Chara, we have already seen those who can move around, and Achara, plants. They can't move around. Plants are living, but they cannot move around on their own. Someone has to shift them. So, there is something which none of these Sajiva have except human beings. None of the animals have it, none of the plants have it. And please don't tell me it is emotions, because the plants also have emotions. That is proven, scientifically proven now. So there is only one thing that we human beings have and animals don't have. Forget about the plants. And that is power of imagination. We imagine a lot. We predict a lot. And these predictions are something which give rise to anxiety. जो है नहीं, सामने नहीं है, उसका अस्तित्व हम इमेजिन कर लेते हैं, and that is giving rise to anxiety. And it's very important to understand this in today's circumstances. Whenever you feel anxious, sit down and try to understand ये कहाँ से आ रहा है, where is it originating from, what is it that I'm imagining, what is it that is not realistic, but I still feel that it is a real danger. ये कहाँ से आ रहा है? It is very important to understand it, because again reality is of 3 types. Sensory reality जो हम सूंघते हैं, smell करते हैं, देखते हैं, feel करते हैं, touch करते हैं, all that 5 sensory organs, that is sensory reality. Then there is emotional reality. What I'm feeling right now is my emotional reality. It may not have any logic because it is my emotional reality. And conceptual reality. Whatever I perceive situation as, आज की situation को मैं किस तरह से देखती हूँ, that is my conceptual reality. So again, in reality, sensory reality will be almost same for everyone, but conceptual reality and emotional reality will be different. अपने अपने हिसाब से ये होगी. So this also we need to understand कि which space I am coming from, what is my conceptual reality right now, what is my emotional reality right now. Now these are pillars of anxiety in today's times. I have already discussed uncertainty, insecurity, kya hoga pata nahi. Some of us have lost family members, near and dear ones. There is isolation, there is stigma attached to. Fortunately, that stigma has reduced a lot now in this last 1 year. But earlier there was a big amount of stigma attached to this word corona. And main thing, the most important pillar of anxiety today, sensory overload. And what do I mean by sensory overload? Everywhere you go, this is what you come across. आप टीवी लगाओ, आप न्यूज़पेपर खोलो, आप किसी को फोन करो, फोन भी आधे, if you talk with someone for 20 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes are spent on talking about corona and vaccines. That is the reality, that is the truth. So there is a lot of sensory overload. So I always suggest कि news जो है दिन में एक ही बार देखना, it is enough. It's not going to change in 24 hours. Nothing will change every hour. कोई ना कोई आता रहेगा टीवी पे, कुछ ना कुछ अपने हिसाब से बोलता रहेगा, but the basis is not going to change. Nothing is going, sky is not going to fall down within 24 hours. So assign one time, and preferably not in the late evenings. If at all you are addicted to watching news, do it in the afternoon times, and only once in a day, because there is sensory overload happening right now. This here I have explained how this anxiety generates. It's kind of circular, you know. So we have few thoughts. There is some trigger, something I have seen or read or imagined, and that triggers few thoughts in my mind. So these thoughts can be I feel bad, so it must be bad. मुझे खराब लग रहा है, or I cannot cope up with this situation, or something terrible is going to happen. This type of thoughts give rise to few feelings within us, and these feelings, basically it is fear, and there is also feelings of helplessness, feeling of sometimes there is sad, you are sad or angry or hurt. All these feelings are there, and physical reactions of these feelings also can be seen, and that leads to our behavior. So what I mean by behavior, ये जो सारे thoughts और feelings मेरे मन में आते हैं, because of that it is reflected in my behavior कि मैं किस तरह से सोच रही हूँ, मैं किस तरह से feel कर रही हूँ. So I may avoid facing that situation में अपने, and that is why we are all the time on media. ये जो मीडिया पे जाना है ना, all the time you are on Facebook, Twitter and whatnot. I know only 2-3 names. So why you are all the time there? Because you are running away from reality. You are trying to avoid. You are trying to escape. So that is freeze reaction. Or we try to cope. We find out कि ये करूंगी, ये करूंगा. Some people go for walk, some people chat with other friends. So this is another type of behavior. One type of behavior is getting away from reality, and another type of behavior is finding out coping mechanism. So this behavior is very important, because this behavior again is going to give rise to few thoughts. So ये circle में चलता रहता है. So what is important is what is your behavior. वो देखना है मैं अभी कर क्या रहा हूँ या मैं कर क्या रही हूँ. And from behavior you need to go to okay, इसके पीछे मेरी feelings क्या है, मेरी emotions क्या है. And from feelings you need to go to thoughts. Okay, which thoughts are giving rise to these feelings, which are leading to non useful or non-functional behavior. So it is very important to understand this circle of anxiety, because these thoughts and these triggers, they be develop into triggers and give rise to panic. Panic बहुत हो जाते हैं हम लोग. And doctors are always saying कि आप डर को निकाल देना. If you really want to fight this disease, then what you need to do is remove that fear, remove that panic from you. Panic में कुछ मत करना. So this was one thing that I wanted to really discuss with you all. Now we come to okay, ये सब तो मालूम पड़ गया, लेकिन how do I handle it? I'm getting anxious, I'm getting negative thoughts. So how do I do it? Now if I ask you, ये जो लाइन आपको स्क्रीन पे दिख रही है, इसको आपको छोटी करना है. You can maybe draw a similar line on paper.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I think the slide is same, newspapers collage ki. You just, we are not able to see the line which you are talking about. Just check it at your end again.
एक मिनिट. आता काय दिसतंय?
Paper collage, newspaper.
Okay, so today it is stuck on paper collage.
Yeah.
Now? Yeah. Now it is going ahead, no?
No.
Is it? No.
Students?
No, ma'am. It's on paper collage.
Okay.
थोडं मॅम मागे जाऊन पुढे या बघा.
हा तेच करते मी. मागे गेलं? Can you see pillars of anxiety?
नाही.
Okay, so it is stuck basically.
पुन्हा परत शेअर केलं तरी चालेल. मगाशी वर्कआउट झाला होता. छान आहेत कारण PPT
Yeah. I have stopped sharing and I will share it again. Let's see.
हाँ.
Okay, what do you see now?
Mm,
Yes, ma'am, your screen is shared.
pillars
Yeah,
of
pillars of
anxiety
anxiety.
today.
Yes, yes. Newspapers?
Yes.
Now is it on newspapers?
Yes, it is on newspaper.
Has it
The
gone
focus
to
is on
still on newspaper?
news. Yes.
Oh, so it's not ready to go ahead from there.
Mm.
Okay. Mm, let me do one thing. What do you see now?
Same, ma'am. Newspaper
Hmm.
collage.
Okay. So, huh.
TK will carry on with these newspapers.
Ah, seriously. Okay, now you still see newspapers?
Yes, ma'am. Or you can again
Because
reshare the PPT and you just select the last one and come back.
yeah, that is what I did actually.
Oh. Mm.
Just
I'll
a
check
minute.
it at my end. Ek minute. Now I'll be sharing the PPT of ma'am from my end. Students, please let me know.
Yes,
Okay, is
ma'am.
it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
But you have to go to slide share.
Yeah, that I'm doing it. Slide share.
Yeah, you can start from here on from this PPT. Panic.
Yeah, I did this slide share. I started this slide share option. Now there are a lot of clouds on the screen and trigger and thoughts and behaviors. Same image mm, mm, you can see here.
I can see other slides also. I mean, on the left. So
Mm,
it's not really a slide share.
huh. I'm able to see actually the complete slide with no slides at the left side. Why
Okay, what about
it's
students?
Ma'am, in left side there are slides. Some slides are there.
slides?
Ah,
Hey,
ah.
okay, okay. Now, which slide is going on?
Hmm.
Same as previous.
पॅनिक वाली ठेव मॅम इथे का तुम्ही काय कर फर्स्ट स्लाइड ठेव पॉझिटिव्ह
नाही
ठेव
पॅनिक वाली आहे आता पण ते स्लाइड शेअर नाही आहे
हा
स्लाइड शो नाही आहे बेसिकली
इथे तर
आणि त्याच्यामुळे
वर्कआउटही
काय स्लाइड शो का नेसेसरी आहे कारण आय हॅव इनकॉर्पोरेटेड व्हेरियस फिगर्स इन वन स्लाइड यू नो सो दॅट वोंट हॅपन वेन यू आर डुईंग स्लाइड दिस वे
हा राईट
okay so what we can do is ma'am you go to the slide you changed go to positive self talk slide after that 12 number yeah
दिस वन
yeah
ओके
okay so it doesn't matter we can carry out it
ओके
changed automatically it has changed go back
प्रॅक्टिस पॉझिटिव्ह सेल्फ टॉक करेक्ट
but I can see the next slide okay yes
हा
so yes so how do we handle it? So what I was talking about with you all is, imagine that you have drawn a line on a paper and you are told to make it shorter without touching it. You are not supposed to rub it, you are not supposed to cut it, nothing. Then what you will do is you have to draw a longer line besides it. So it automatically becomes shorter. So when people ask me how to reduce my negative thinking, how to overcome my anxiety, my suggestion is, don't focus on reducing something, focus on increasing something. So instead of focusing on reducing your negative thoughts, focus on having positive thoughts. Every day, consciously practice having positive self talk. And what do I mean by practicing positive self talk? So suppose you think that I have never done it before, then immediately what you can do is think consciously, uh, आप लिख लेना कागज पे चाहिए तो. So it can be, it's an opportunity to learn something new in this, during this pandemic season. Not season, I wouldn't like to call it season, but during these pandemic times, many people have learned new skills. They have started doing things which they never did earlier, maybe wanted to do but never got an opportunity to, they were too busy with their work. So treat it as an opportunity to learn something new. Uh, Second example is, if you feel that it is too complicated, you can always, think of it like, I will tackle it from different angle. There is a creativity center in our brain, and if you allow it to work, then yes, you can tackle any situation from different angle. And we are not talking about having solution in hand. What we are talking about is tackling it from different angle. We may or may not get the solution. So don't focus, because if you focus on getting solution, what happens is you get frustrated if you don't get one. इसलिए goal क्या है, focus कौन सा होना चाहिए, that is also very important. Third example is, I don't have the resources, मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है, मेरे पास कुछ available नहीं है. So okay, necessity is the mother of invention. I will try to find out, मेरे पास कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा होगा which will help me in this situation. So try and search for it. That is also equally important. If you feel that I'm too lazy to get this done, instead of that, you can always think that I was not able to fit it into my schedule, but now I can try it. I will reschedule it. मैं कोशिश करूंगा. Because many times what students, especially students community, I have seen that they allow lot of things to pile up, और बहुत ज्यादा चीजें pile up हो जाती है उनके, and then they are stressed, and then they find an excuse that I'm too lazy, मुझसे नहीं होता है ये. So instead of that, you can think, okay, last month में नहीं हुआ, but that doesn't mean ये month में भी नहीं होगा. What I will do is, I will schedule it in such a way that मेरा pile up जो हो गया है वो भी cover हो जाएगा, और I will have time for new thing also. So that is how you can practice positive self-talk. That and for everyone, positive self-talk is going to be different. So don't try to imitate in toto what I have written here. These are my way of positive self-talk. You will have something different. You will come up with something different. Explore it, see what you can get from your inner thought process, because every one of us has पीछे background noise चलता रहता है हर एक के लिए. Right now also, when you are listening to me, I am pretty sure that some background noise is going on. So pay attention to that background noise and find out कि वहां से कुछ मुझे मिल सकता है क्या, वहां से कुछ निकल के आता है क्या. And then next slide, madam. When I was child, I used to read stories, fairy tales, where they used to talk about one mantra, which was abracadabra. And I always used to wonder what this abracadabra is. And very recently, what I did was, I decided to find out on Google, because Google gives us a lot of information. So I decided to find on Google, and you know what I came up with? It is actually a word. Abracadabra is actual word. It means, it is a Hebrew word, and it means I create what I speak. And this is the crux of positive thinking. When I think कि मैं कर सकता हूं, then you will try to do it. But if you think मैं कर ही नहीं सकता हूं, so you start from thinking I can't do it. So I create what I speak. So it is an actual word. So many times I say कि ठीक है, whenever you are stuck somewhere, you can say to yourself abracadabra. You can revisit your childhood, or you can ask your parents. They might have heard about this word. I don't think your generation has heard this word, but yes, that can be our mantra in today's times. Then there is another thing which is very important in dealing with this negativity or having positivity in our life. Basically, it is there are few chemicals which secrete in our brain, which are responsible for feeling good. And what are those chemicals? I would like to explain to you. First is dopamine. It's a reward chemical. So when you complete some task, if you have set a goal, this goal setting is very important. In the morning, as soon as you get up, decide what you are going to do in that day. And that goal setting is important thing. And as you go on completing the task that you have decided, this dopamine will secrete in your brain. Also, when you do self-care activities, that also helps in secretion of dopamine. Certain kinds of food, eating food, celebrating little achievements, that also gives rise to dopamine. Then there is oxytocin, which is a love hormone. So if you play with, if you have a pet dog or cat in your house, if you play with that dog, or if you play with a baby, you must have seen that the moment there is a baby in the family, the whole atmosphere changes. Because when you play with baby, you just are observing baby, this oxytocin secretes a lot. Holding hand, hugging your family member, giving compliment to someone else, these are very important things, and this gives rise to oxytocin secretion. Then there are endorphins. Endorphins are considered as painkillers of these chemicals, happiness chemicals. And how do we get endorphins? So laughter, exercise. Then there are few essential oils which also help. This is what I have heard. If you watch a comedy, Laurel Hardy hai, ya to Charlie Chaplin hai, any kind of comedy you watch, even dark chocolate helps in endorphin secretion. And main thing is exercising. Exercising is the big source of all these chemicals. If you exercise for 40 minutes every day, you are going to get supply all these chemicals. So I will suggest exercise very regularly. Then fourth one is serotonin. There are many chemicals, but these four are most important. So the serotonin is basically a mood stabilizer. And how do you get serotonin? By meditation, sun exposure, or when you connect with nature. We have forgotten how to connect with nature. So if you connect with nature, you observe surroundings. There are such nice trees around us. There are birds on that tree. Sometimes in the morning, I have noticed that birds are like, literally there is symphony going on. There are different birds making their own noises, and it's so beautiful to listen to that sound. So do that. Swimming, cycling also helps in secretion of serotonin. So these four chemicals are very important, and these are the things that you can do for getting good supply of these chemicals, which will help you to remain positive even in hardest of the times. Why self-care is important? Because it gives you greater capacity to manage stress. If you take proper care of yourself, managing stress becomes easier. I won't say there won't be any stress. Stress will be there, but you can manage it in a better way, because basically you are satisfied and happy at core because you have taken good care of yourself. So that happiness gives you ability to manage your stress. It increases your resilience. एक situation से adapt करना जिसे बोलते हैं. And human beings is the best, we are a very resilient race. But I will say, if you observe, certain species in nature are more resilient than human beings. They adapt to, like, for example, many times you must have come across a line of, चींटियां चलती रहती है एक लाइन में, एक कतार में चलती रहती है. एंड इफ यू क्रिएट समथिंग इन देयर रूट, उनके पाथ में अगर कुछ ऑब्स्टेकल आप डाल देते हो, तो जस्ट ऑब्जर्व व्हाट दे डू. All they do is circumvent that obstacle, and they will continue with their path. वो obstacle जहां है उतना ही part वो circumvent कर देते हैं. So that is the best way of resilience. So what we need to do in today's world is circumvent. हमें इसके around जाना है. ये जो zone है, time zone है अभी हमारे आजू बाजू में, we have to circumvent it and go ahead. Achieve goals. That is why I said every day decide on few goals जो आपको उस दिन में करना है. Because as you go on achieving goals, we have already seen that happy chemicals secret. And better equipped, you will be better equipped to be a caregiver. अगर आपके फैमिली में किसी को आपकी जरूरत है, आपके फ्रेंड्स को आपकी जरूरत है, so it is like, when you are traveling on plane, they always give you instruction. अगर ऐसा मौका आए, तो ऑक्सीजन मास्क पहले अपने नाक पे लगाना, बाद में आपके बाजू वाले के. Why? Because unless and until you are healthy enough to take care of others, you won't be able to help others. So that is why self-care is very important. You have to take good care of yourself. And which are the aspects that you need to take care of? One is physical, like health अच्छी होनी चाहिए. Personal hygiene, like having bath in time. Like I have seen many students who don't have bath every day. So please avoid doing that. Then social health, connect with others, talk with others, call your friends, call your family members, उनके साथ बातें करो, family के साथ बैठ के बातें करो. It's very important. Your emotional health is another thing that you need to take care of. So we have already seen in emotional literacy how to take care of your emotional health. Spiritual health, by spiritual health I mean having faith, vishwas, having faith that yes, we will overcome all this. That is what I mean by spiritual health. I don't mean any kuch puja archa part, ye nahi. That also gives, but believe me, people who have something जिस पे उनको विश्वास होता है, either it can be God or some entity, तो उनको बहुत थोड़ा आसान जाता है इन चीजों पे ओवरकम करना. So spiritual health is another aspect. And then diet. So सॉल्ट इनटेक कम करना है, शुगर्स कम करना है, कैफीन कम करना है. बहुत ज्यादा कॉफी चाय कॉफी पी लेते हैं. So examine your diet. What you need to include in your diet is vegetables, fresh vegetables, leafy vegetables, fruits. Fruits में भी ज्यादा करके जिसमें water contents ज्यादा है, जैसे watermelon है, musk melon है, या तो orange है. So eat those fruits. Eat complex carbohydrates. Breakfast is most important. Early morning breakfast. Don't skip breakfast. Take vitamin supplements. पानी बहुत ज्यादा पीना चाहिए दिन में. So this is one important aspect. Another equally important aspect is take proper amount of rest. मैंने slide में 6 hours लिखा है, but actually it should be, for your age group, it should be 7 hours of sleep. Continuous rest is most necessary. And what affects our sleep cycle most is our habit of staying awake till late in the night. And what we are doing in the night when we stay awake, basically media पे होते हैं, फेसबुक पे होते हैं, ट्विटर पे होते हैं, सो वी आर नॉट डूइंग एनीथिंग मीनिंगफुल फ्रैंकली। लेकिन क्या होता है, ये जो स्क्रीन है, it activates your brain cells, and because your brain cells are activated, you are not relaxed, so your sleep is affected, and because you sleep late, you get up late, and वो पूरा चक्कर शुरू हो जाता है. So make sure that you sleep at proper time. There is reason why we are supposed to sleep in the night. किसी भी कंट्री में, किसी भी कल्चर में, कहीं भी आप जाके देखो, sleep time is night time only. And why is that? Because there is no sun around. So it's not only about light, it's also about getting sunlight. So if you reduce your waking hours of the day, what you reduce is sunlight. And sunlight is biggest source of happy chemicals, क्योंकि उसमें डी विटामिन होता है, एंड डी विटामिन डेफिशिएंसी इज समथिंग which gives rise to negative emotions. So make sure that you are awake most part of the day and have proper schedule of sleep. Another thing, exercise we have already discussed that actually 20 भी नहीं, ज्यादा होना चाहिए exercise, but at least minimum 20 minutes 5 times in a week. और ये एक्सरसाइज किस तरह का होना चाहिए, आपको पसीना आना चाहिए इस एक्सरसाइज से. सो आराम से चलना इज नॉट एक्सरसाइज. सो डू साइकिलिंग, डू जॉगिंग, डू रनिंग, do brisk walking, so that endorphins are secreting in a large quantity. Then share, talk things out. अगर कुछ आपको परेशान कर रहा है, talk it out with someone, maybe your friend, maybe your family member, किसी के भी साथ जिसे आप ट्रस्ट करते हो. You share it with that person, because sharing is the most important thing as far as managing the emotions are concerned. And in case there is no one in your friends or family members, in IMD you have a counselor where you can actually say anything to a counselor. You can talk about anything with counselor, and that will help you. So that is another thing. Relax, do breathing meditation, do something which you enjoy, gardening jaisi cheez which helps you in relaxing. These are very important things. Listen to music or read a book, but basically relax for some time in a day. Do something which is not attached to your screen. There are few things that you can say to yourself. Most important sentence I will say is, my mental health is my responsibility. मुझे खुश रखना किसी की भी जिम्मेदारी नहीं है इस दुनिया में. It's only and only my responsibility. So take hold of your life, take hold of your emotions, take hold of your mental health, and believe in facts. And try to avoid predicting things. Go by facts, and do practices which will boost your immunity, psychological immunity. जैसे physical immunity boost करने के लिए कुछ हम vitamins ले रहे हैं, similarly for boosting your psychological immunity, like we have discussed right now, exercise है, relaxation है, sharing है, all these things you can practice, and practice positive self-talk, which will increase your psychological immunity. And understand one thing, we need to be prepared for worst, but at the same time keep faith कि ठीक है, बुरे से बुरा वक्त भी गुजर जाता है, क्योंकि वो वक्त है. And what concept is, it will pass. It's not, never stays. कहीं भी दुनिया में कभी भी एक दिन दूसरे दिन जैसा सेम नहीं निकला है. So whatever is happening today is going to change. I'm going to enjoy beaches. I'm going to go out to movie, go out to parties with my friends. So have faith, have that faith intact. And these are 10 commandments. जैसे Christ ने 10 commandments दी थी. So these are 10 commandments as far as our emotional health and positivity is concerned. Fixed schedule रखना बहुत important है. Because what happens is, कहाँ जाना है, कहीं तो नहीं जाना है, घर में ही बैठना है. So we don't have schedule. So I will suggest in the morning, make a schedule for that day. exercise regularly, meditation करना, connect with people, call them on your own. ये मत सोचना कि मैं ही हमेशा कॉल करती हूँ, वो सामने वाले क्यों नहीं करते. It's not important. Connect with people, accept and acknowledge whatever is happening around you, and also accept and acknowledge जो अच्छा हो रहा है वो भी और जो बुरा हो रहा है वो भी. Help, दूसरों को help करना. Watch news only once in a day, like I said. Follow all the health guidelines. That is very important. Avoid too much screen time. Take care of your diet, sleep, and hydration, and avoid substance abuse. Many times I've seen out of frustration, people start drinking or smoking. So I will suggest never do this, never do drinking or smoking because you are frustrated. Because frustration के ऊपर वो इलाज नहीं है. So avoid substance abuse. And in the last, whatever you decide to do, make sure that it makes you happy. This is what I wanted to share with you all. Unfortunately, slides जैसे मुझे चाहिए थी वैसे चली नहीं. But I hope you have like कुछ तो आप इसके ऊपर सोचेंगे. And anytime you feel like connecting with me, you can do so. So yeah, I will stop my presentation here, and you are free to
Thank you,
ask
ma'am.
questions.
So the session is open for question and answer, students. If you have any questions, you can ask to ma'am. Any questions? Apurva, Harsh, Chetan, Jaideep, Mohit, Muskan, Vedant, Vivek, Shirish. Any
All
questions
sleeping,
from student side?
all sleeping, fast asleep.
They are following one slide, that is just relax and
बहुत दिल पे लगा लिया वो.
ma'am, is there any connection with the goal setting and anxiety? Like,
Yes.
I generally feel like when I set a goal, I feel anxious. I raise expectations of myself, and immediately I feel also like I'm feeling anxiety. Like, I have to do like that, and as per my expectation and standards only.
Yeah. I know. Yes, there is a connection between goal setting and anxiety. So the connection is you have to set realistic goals. What
Hmm.
happens is when we set goals, sometimes m- uh, somehow we have been taught to keep high goals.
Hmm.
So that is what is giving rise to anxiety. Instead of that, if you keep realistic goals, and by realistic, I mean what are my skills, what are the resources available to me, and what is possible. If you do goal setting based on these three things, it won't give you much of anxiety. I won't say no anxiety,
Hmm.
but it won't be too much. So be realistic when you do goal setting. And here when I mentioned have goal setting, it basically meant have a schedule. I will
Hmm.
exercise for 1 hour today. I will spend 1 hour in doing this. I will spend 2 hours in doing this. And I will also suggest that these 2 hours also should be assigned. Just say
Hmm.
between 8 to 9, I will do this. Between 9 to 11, I will do this. What happens is our brain is wired to work better when it is, kind of scheduled.
Hmm.
अगर
Hmm.
वो शेड्यूल निकल जाता है ना लाइफ से, we go haywire
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
brain gets confused, and that is why you need to create these kind of schedules in
Hmm.
present circumstances. Otherwise क्या होता है, हमारी छुट्टी 2-4 दिन की होती है. So it's okay if you don't have schedule, but right now for 1 hour we don't have any schedule. 1 year, so
Hmm.
that's not very good thing to happen. So have
Hmm.
schedules.
Okay. Okay. Yes, students, your questions from your side now. Ma'am, what is a stigma?
Stigma is earlier you must be remembering, अरे उसको कोरोना हो गया है.
हाँ
You
हाँ
know,
हाँ हाँ.
that kind of labeling used to happen. Stigma, which is like bad kind of label. Ki
अच्छा.
there's something to be avoided, someone to be avoided. Fortunately, now that stigma is not there because it has spread so much that there is no stigma attached.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, the reason is not fortunate, but
Yeah, actually, but it's gone now.
yeah, that stigma is gone. Otherwise, earlier we have read that these people were avoided like anything.
Ah, yes, nobody, were ready
Yeah,
to
no,
help them.
yeah. So that is not there anymore. People have realized कि किसी को भी हो सकता है,
Mm,
and we need to help each other.
mm. Students, where are you? Akshat, Apurva, Abhishek, Chetan, any question from your side?
I'm telling
Mohit?
you, they have just logged in and they have gone.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I lecture you only, ma'am, every time. Why don't we two meet and I will lecture you directly?
Ma'am, can you tell about us about meditation more, bit more?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
ma'am, what
Yes.
types of techniques we can use? Because I do sometimes, but
Yeah.
I can't able to do that more than 2 days.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Yes, there are few techniques. क्या होता है, when we start meditation, there is this concept कि meditation में सारे thoughts निकाल देने हैं दिमाग से. You have to make it completely empty. So that doesn't happen. So there is another way of meditation, which is breathing meditation. So what you do is you focus completely on your breath. So you inhale, exhale, count one. Inhale, exhale, count two. So you go on counting your breaths from 1 to 30. And if you lose count in between, you start from 1 again. So your complete focus on is counting from 1 to 30, your breaths, counting your breaths. So that is very good for starting of your meditation. That is one way. Then there are a few guided meditation videos and audios available. So what they do is they take you through meditation process. So because they are instructing you, you can do it better. कोई और आपको अगर इंस्ट्रक्शन साइड से दे रहा है, it always happens better. So you can find out guided meditation audios which are available on Google. That also is helpful in meditation. But breathing meditation is best way to start on your own.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, any other
Yeah.
questions? Kaushik?
Yes. And they can always approach me even afterwards if they are, reluctant to
Yes.
ask just now. Uh, you must be sharing my number and email ID. So
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Actually.
Yes.
So we'll close the session for today. Thank you, ma'am. And it was wonderful session as always. And I think we need to listen these positive, tips frequently actually. And all these are really helpful for all of us. So thank you, and thank you students as well for your patient listening. And friends, all of you are requested not to keep worries, tensions with you. Share with ma'am, the professional counselor, and it will be privilege for us counseling team to help you and guide you. and there is no charge for this counseling session. So anytime you can contact me or ma'am directly. The phone numbers are available. We are frequently sending messages, emails about our counseling center, IMET information. So you can contact there as well. Thank you,
and
ma'am. Thank
and
you,
you can also
students.
suggest, if you want me to talk about certain topic, you can convey it to me through ma'am. So
Hmm.
what I will do is, instead of selecting on my own, I can go by that
Hmm.
also.
Hmm. Yes, ma'am. I'll again ask to them like what are your suggestions? Those have attended actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Thank you,
Yes,
ma'am. Bye.
thank
Thank you,
you.
students. You can leave now.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.